I'm pretty sure in a past life I was some kind of dictator or absolute monarch. I always liked Ludwig II of Bavaria after I was introduced to him in a computer game. Maybe I'm his reincarnation, I don't know, but sometimes I just don't want people around. I just want to be completely on my own to enjoy the surroundings. But we have those days, you know, those days where we feel irritated, where we're pissed off, and you know, today's actually a very nice, bright, sunny day. But you know, those days where nothing feels like it's going right, and you sort of think that, oh, things just aren't going the way that I want them. And we all have them. And I think we have to... Oh, it's leaves. I thought it was some kind of cute animal that I was going to turn the camera around and show you. A little squirrel. A little doggy or something, I don't know. Flying around. Flying around in that kind of mood. We have to figure out ways of actually dealing with this, of being able to absorb things. I've felt in certain moods and in conversations with people, I felt extraordinarily guilty. It's not necessary, you know, and I'm learning to actually absorb certain feelings, particularly when I stand up for myself, which I'm doing more and more, but doing it in a calm way. And one of the ways, as obvious as it sounds, is learning to breathe, to slow yourself down, because in our world there's a huge emphasis on goal setting and dreamscaping and devising in our minds, our imaginations, our perfect scenario. But it all feels quite distant and removed from the present moment. And I think anything that you can do to actually immerse yourself in the moment, to ground yourself, is a really positive thing to do. Because in my therapy session yesterday, one of the things that I talked about, that's a feeling I've had a lot, is this idea of fighting fires all the time. And my therapist asked me a really good question. I mean, he's fabulous, actually. He's a really great guy, and I'm learning a lot from him, actually. Asked me the question, well, are they your fires? Or are they other people's? And it's other people's. And the interesting thing is, we're drawn to the right people, and, you know, birds of a feather flock together. Because he described a similar scenario where he was talking about his past work that he used to do, engineering background. And he said that he was taking on loads of other people's work, actually sort of physically in some cases doing other people's work, because without it, those particular tasks, he couldn't do his. But his boss came up to him, whom he got on with really well, came up to him and said, look, you're going to have to shut it out, because there's work that you need to do that is your work that isn't getting done. Oh, it's brilliant. That's so brilliant. Whose fires are they? In those moments of anger and frustration, whose business are you in? Who are you trying to control? What about that situation, you know, can you not accept? What isn't good enough? And this is a massive theme that's come out of my experience with my ex-boyfriend. Because there are loads of things now that I'm dealing with, rather than just thinking, oh, he was a wanker for saying that or doing that or whatever. It's like, well, how are you involved? Are you living your life? And there's this very specific example. He spent huge amounts of money, tens of thousands of pounds, on jewellery. Obsessed, like really sort of fanatically obsessed, that even when he and I, in the rare occasions where we were physically together, he would be on his phone looking at websites of gemstones, because apparently I was too boring. But I don't know. This is what I mean. I literally wasn't there. And in the most recent time, before we split, he went to the John Lewis website where I got my bedding from. And I thought, well, you know, I've been in London 20 years. I've come back up to my native Derbyshire. I'm going to buy myself some really nice bedding. And so, I went to the John Lewis website and I looked up the bedding that you bought. It was quite expensive, isn't it? And I thought, fuck off. I'm going to be sleeping in it every single night. It's going to last me a lot longer. It's an investment. And it's a nice, and aside from all that, it's a nice thing that I'm going to do a nice thing for myself. And I thought, £10,000 on a lump of chiseled rock. And I suddenly thought, hypocrite, first of all, but secondly, get the fuck out of my business. If you're not going to actually be with me or have conversations or communicate or be intimate or, you know, hold my hand every now and then, well, I'm allowed that bedding, you know. I'm allowed that bedding. And it sounds like a superficial example, but what I'm illustrating is that you have to be in your life if you want it to be satisfying, productive, and fulfilling, joyful. These words that I keep repeating because the duck's laughing at me. I keep repeating them because I'm reminding myself. I'm absolutely reminding myself that you've got to be present in your life. You can't be a guest star, as they say. You have to be the leading role. You see? You lead your life forward. And it is always down to you. It is your responsibility what your life is like. And you can't live other people's lives for them. That is their job. And your job is living your life and making sure that you're a self-determined person. Because it's not a dress rehearsal, this. It's meant to be enjoyable. You're meant to be having a fantastic time. And I've talked recently about the bleakness that's in people. And I think a lot of it is that we're just overloaded with potential conflagrations and disasters and catastrophes. You know? And it's all so far away. It's all imagined in your mind. What are you physically doing in the here and now, in the presence of your life? That's all that you need to focus on, because, my friends, it's the only thing that you have control over.